Hey guys, I just wanted to say be careful with this stuff because I thought the name coffee was a joke and I can't stop. Hello, pals. My name is Palamore, and really quickly, I want to say I'm really sorry for being inconsistent here on YouTube and both Twitch. I've been really sick IRL, and I'm just trying to deal with this. Anyways, while I've been in bed most of these days, I've been thinking a lot about some video ideas, and this is one I think I can power through. In today's short video, we're going to be talking about some of the best compositions to play as a rogue in 2v2, and kind of maybe a brief summary of how to play them successfully. Without further ado, let's jump into the video, guys. Alright guys, so in terms of actual compositions, there's going to be two ways you can play twos. You can play with a healer and you can play with a DPS. So first, let's dive into the healer comps. So in terms of figuring out what healer is going to work best with you as a sub-rogue, you're going to need to take a couple things into account. First of all, you need to remember that sub-rogue operates in burst windows. We don't have a lot of overall DPS. It's very hit and run. So anything that can synergize with you in these small burst windows is going to help a lot. The other thing we need to remember is as a sub-rogue, outside of blind, we don't really have access to huge CC chains. So playing with a healer that can provide a lot of help to CC is going to be really good for us. So in order from top to bottom, my favorite healer picks for 2v2 are going to be Disc Priest number 1, Resto Druid number 2, and Holy Pally at number 3. You could play with a Mistweaver and a Resto Shaman, but for the fact that they have a hard time adding DPS to our goes, and they have a hard time adding a lot of CC for us, we get way more value out of the others. When playing with a Discipline Priest, the main things you want to keep in your mind is that your blind DRs with your Priest Sphere, as well as the mind control DRs with Sap. So playing around these DRs will help you a lot. And Disc Priests do a lot of healing through damage actually via their passive atonement. So they should be able to help add a lot of burst into your little double stun windows. It'll be ideal for your priests to be able to follow up with your kidneys that you use to CC the healer with fears and mind controls and things like that while helping DPS in between. When playing with a Resto Druid, you're going to have a really high access to CC as well through spammable Cyclones. Once again, the only thing that Cyclone's going to DR with is your blind, so as long as you guys don't stack those together, you'll be fine. Once again, a lot of kidney shots on the healer into blinds. Your Druid can also use a bash on the off target to CC if you want to use kidney shot on the kill target. But druids are great for the mobility and survivability in 2v2. Lastly, when playing with a Holy Paladin, main things you want to keep in mind is that your pally can do a couple things with their spec. They can spec into blind, shorter stun, or even repentance. I personally think that for most cases, repentance is going to be the best. This is going to DR with your sap, but it will let your pally cast repentance off your kidney shots and potentially even just use Hodge themselves to set up CC chains. Holy Pallies do also have a lot of tools to help burst with us in our little burst windows. In terms of who your target's going to be when playing with a healer, in general in 2v2, you'll be doing your best to CC the enemy team's healer and land a kill on their DPS target. It'll be very rare that you're going to go for a kill on their healer. Okay, now in terms of playing with a DPS partner, there are plenty of compositions that work, but I'm only going to go over a couple of my favorites. And those are going to be playing Rogue Mage, Rogue Shadow Priest, and Rogue Hunter. Like I said, rogues can be very viable with a lot of other DPS classes, but I think these are three of the best in 2v2. So when playing any of these compositions, for the most part, once again, we're almost never going to go on a healer. Although it is definitely much different in 2v2 with double DPS, doing goes on the healer can be really good, especially as Rogue Mage and Rogue Shadow Priest. You have a lot of lockdown to kind of finish off a healer. Anyways, in terms of general playstyle for each of these, they're going to differ a bit. So let's start with Rogue Hunter. So for Rogue Hunter, the main thing that you're going to win games on here, your main win condition, is going to be the fact that you have very high burst from your opener, and you have access to pretty long CC chains. It is very easy for you to throw a Mark for Death kidney shot onto the healer or whatever the CC target is, and let your hunter follow up with a trap. As well as spacing out your defensive cooldowns, you guys should be able to survive long enough to land a kill pretty fast. In terms of playing something like a Shadow Priest, the burst damage won't be as high as it would be with a Hunter, but you have a lot more tools for survivability, from Life Swap to spacing out, your Priest Trinket Fade and Dispersion, spacing out your Vanish. You'll have a lot less burst on your goes, but you'll have a higher sense of control. And your main goal here is to kind of get cooldowns, survive long enough to get another set of DRs on them, and then go back in. The most success I've found from running with a Shadow Priest has been just locking down healers and taking them out. But obviously, we have a lot of CC as well. You can lock down healers for a long time and go on their DPS partner. Now, my absolute favorite, as well as what I believe is one of the strongest comps in the entire game, is going to be Rogue Mage in 2v2. Now, this is a comp that is basically the ideal. This is the perfection of 2v2. You have every single aspect of what you need to win an arena. You have high burst damage, you have really high mobility and utility to survive long, and you have a ton of CC. Rogue and Mage synergize together so well. It's almost an insult to kind of put them into this video instead of make a whole video for them on its own. But basically, when played perfectly, this comp will be dominating. To make it sweet and short, the correct way to play Rogue Mage is essentially using your CC, getting defensive cooldowns out of the enemy team, and surviving long enough until your DRs come back up to use CC again and burst again. It's going to look like a lot of stuns on both of the enemy players into your mage following up with like a polymorph. You're going to burst on the kill target, get defensive cooldowns traded, and you're going to back out. You're going to live as long as you can, throw a lot of polymorphs on the kill target in between to kind of live until you have the DRs. And as soon as your DRs are back up again, you're going to turn right back on the offensive, throw your double stun, throw your polymorph, and do your burst damage. The goal here is really to outlast the enemy's defensive cooldowns between spreading out your cooldowns as well as applying a lot of offensive pressure. Anyways, guys, in conclusion, these are going to be my best 2v2 comps, playing both of the healer and a DPS partner. I do want to genuinely apologize one more time for kind of what I feel like isn't the best video, but I did want to make sure I could get something out that was useful and helpful for you guys. I do get this question a lot. Actually, people ask me a lot about what comps to play, so hopefully this can help you there. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video.